Make sure we're live in the group. Give me 1 second. Make sure this is Dave Woodson for the Dreaming Agency here in Valparaiso. Make sure we're live in the group. Make sure you hear me. In the group. Give me 1 second. Can you hear me? When they can hear us. Bill Crane, everybody. The
What's
man,
up,
the
Dave?
myth, the legend.
I went out and got my bottle of wine so I could partake with you.
Looks like you already dipped into it a little bit.
I really did, yeah.
Here's mine. Is Trace Tigris.
Oh,
It's a tongue twister. I posted mine yesterday, sir, so that some people at home wanted to play along, they could.
and I wasn't kidding if anyone saw my post. This is a Pinot Grigio from Barefoot, which you can get at Walmart for like $5.
Mine's from Portugal, so I do a wine in a month club, or I get 6 bottles of wine every month, and the wife and I drink them up, and we're about 8 bottles behind right now.
Nice.
So, and all you got to do is just you fill out a questionnaire every time you get wine, and they keep they have an algorithm that keeps sending you wine that suits your taste.
I'm digging it.
So what's going on? I haven't talked to you since the anniversary show.
Yeah, it's been a while. It seems like all kinds of things are going on, man. I think I told you about my software project.
Not?
I didn't.
No.
Oh, naughty. So as you know, I was in ClickFunnels,
Right.
Was in, pretty intense on the back end, and, working with the inner circle and all that kind of stuff. I just saw a lot of things that needed to be done, right? But weren't going to be done for this industry and really any appointment booking industry, right? So, forever, like 20 years, I've wanted to automate the sales process. That's been my dream, but I'm really not a software engineer. And I saw that ClickFunnels wasn't going to do it, and Infusionsoft wasn't going to do it, and Lead Pages wasn't going to do it, and all of them, name one, HubSpot, none of them really automate the sales process. They've got their funnels, they've got their drip campaigns and that kind of stuff, but I'm talking about fill in your calendar.
Right.
Nobody likes cold calling, door knocking, follow up. The biggest complaint people have in real estate is no follow up. Agents don't answer the phone. Well, I don't think it's because they don't want to answer the phone. I think it's because the real estate business is an incredibly busy business. So most people gravitate towards the things that are painless for them, right? And they don't like to cold call and door knock and prospect and all that kind of stuff. They don't like following up with people. So they don't do it. And because they don't do it, they don't get the amount of business they deserve.
I'm
So
guilty of that. I hate follow up. I hate follow up, and I hate making cold calls.
Yeah, exactly. So, but if we can get you an appointment, you love going on the appointment, and you'll take the listing.
I love being in the living room.
Yeah. So it just comes down to, if we can get you into the living room, you'll take the listing
All day long.
But you don't want to make 2,000 phone calls or whatever you got to do to get there.
2,000 calls to make 2 appointments.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where the software comes in, and along with a team of AI people, and eventually hand off to what you might call an ISA. I don't even like calling them inside sales agents. I like just calling them appointment bookers. Like the job is get an appointment for Dave.
Has it been launched?
It's like 99. Like I got a few people on beta just to test a couple things, because I'm a bit of a perfectionist. When I put something out there, I want it to work even better than I tell people it's going to work.
Right.
So I don't want a headache. And then the other thing is, because so many of these other platforms that I've been on myself, you sign up and it's like a box of Legos, and you got to figure it out, right? You got to go build the Millennium Falcon,
Real
except
geeks.
there's no directions, right? So what I decided I want to do, because I love the real estate industry and the people in it, is I want to take the technology out of the technology. So it's very, very, very simple. People can edit it if they want to with the drag and drop interface, but they don't need to know any code. And we have templates, pre-built, so that all they have to do is enter their basic contact information. Not even, they don't even have to put it like on the funnel pages or websites or anything like that. Basically, I've got a form that they fill out, and then boom, everything's built. Like all your funnels are
Nice.
done, launched in 5 minutes.
Nice.
And because you should be listing homes and showing homes, not like screwing around with technology.
Not unless you really want to.
Yeah, and for the most part, the people who want to is just because no one else has done it for them.
Correct. That was me. That was me early on, but now I've got to the point that I'm just letting certain technologies run my life for me. Google Maps, Google Calendar, KV Core, YouTube.
Yep.
And I try to link them all together and go from there.
Exactly. So I'm pretty excited about it. I've been working for over a year with people that you probably never heard of, like a Google Dialogflow. That's their AI division for that kind of stuff, communications. So it's pretty exciting, and I think it's going to really change the game for a lot of people, because you've got the people that are going to do all kinds of business because they love being on the phone, right? And so they're going to book their appointments and that kind of stuff. But there's so many good people that would just do so much better if only they loved being on the phone and booking appointments.
But if I had four appointments a week, I'd have 2 listings a week.
Yeah, exactly. So we want to help all those good people that actually care about the seller, that actually care about the buyer, get more business.
If I had 2 listings a week, that 2 listings a week would change your life, would change anybody's life.
Absolutely.
So
the
average agent would now become a super agent.
And that's what I want to do, is I want to help average agents become super agents.
I look forward to when it comes out. When it comes out, we'll have you back on the show.
It's called Listing Funnels, and it'll be out very soon.
Cool.
So it's super excited. So do we got some people on, or are they blowing us off?
We had as many as 3. Now we got 1. They're not asking any questions. So if you got questions for Bill, ask away. I know we upset quite a few people the other night with our accidental chat.
Yeah, look, the last thing I want to do is piss anyone off, but at the same time, if they're pissed off because we're trying to help them, then it's time for them to retire.
Exactly.
Because there's plenty of people that are not only not trying to help them, but they're trying to hurt them. They're trying to take their business. They're trying to take them down. They're trying to take them out. And those same people would probably complain about us trying to help them, or giving those other people money. And they're paying for their own demise. So
Jessica Burkle says, I love the chat.
I thought it was great. And there was, I can't remember the woman's name, but somebody says, yeah, that's funny. Her name was Karen, right?
And she was very Karen-like.
And I said, I'd love to have her on a show. Actually, if anyone's listening, or if anyone knows anyone that's listening that was pissed off by that chat, I'd love to have them come on. Because
anytime they want to come on, I'll post the link.
Because I think that they would find that we are sincere, and we're here to help them. We're not here to give anyone a headache. Not here selling anything, not here asking for money, just here trying to help people. And if they have questions, great, we'll answer them. And I know Dave feels the same way.
I love being a resource.
And so it's good.
Yeah, it's better than alternative. Being a stick in the mud.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll just move the water out of the way. I don't think I need that.
I've got a Diet Coke here as well. So
Nice.
I had to do a walkthrough tonight. I had a walkthrough before this.
How'd that go?
It was fine. She was upset about something late last week, but I smoothed it over and walkthrough went fine. She brought someone in to inspect it. I'm like, well, if you're doing an inspection now, we're a little late because we're closing tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's great.
But he gave it the A plus. He gave it a thumbs up, so we're fine.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, it's always fun when Dad comes in and he's playing closet home inspector and screws everything up.
So Jessica asked, can the appointment setter, can a lender and a partner up? Can a lender and a realtor partner up?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, Jessica. Come on, it's Bill Crane. Bill Crane thinks of everything. He covers all the bases.
Yeah, we're going to roll it out for lenders too. And eventually it's going to actually be so that there's going to be a parent company called paidclients.com. The first rollout is going to be with the realtors because that's my first love. But ultimately, the software is going to be designed to help anybody in any business book appointments.
Nice.
Because, like if you can master the real estate business, every other business is easy. I mean, there's no other business where you need, an attorney, multiple attorneys, home inspectors, title people, people's parents, friends, family, every opinion you could think of.
The amount of wrangling that we do is unreal.
It's crazy. The fact that a deal ever closes is almost a miracle. All the things that we have to do and all the people we have to appease to actually close a deal. There's no other business like it. So it just works out good for the platform, starting with real estate and the fact that I've been in real estate my whole life. When we can conquer that, every other business is just easy.
Since college, I've been involved in real estate in some shape, form, or fashion.
Well, that's been like only 2 weeks. You graduated college.
Oh yeah, I wish. I wish. If I could go back, I'd go back. Knowing what I know now, I'd go back.
I would too, except for, well, first of all, I never went the first time. I knew it was for me, but like I always think to myself, what would I have been? What could I have been had I gone to college? Knowing what I know now, the interesting thing is my life definitely would have turned out differently. And I don't think I want that. So it's like I'd go back, but at the same time, I would want everything to be pretty much the same.
Yeah, I can't complain about. I cannot complain about my life. It just I wish some health issues I didn't have, but other than that, I've done pretty well for myself at this point.
Yeah, you got a great.
I'm going to Florida. I'm going to Florida in 4 weeks to take 3 months to take 3 months off technically.
Wow, nice.
So,
I love it. You're going to still do wine with Woodson from down there?
I am.
Nice.
My goal is I'm trying to hire someone to work my leads up here. And then I'm gonna get licenses in Florida.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So, and then sell real estate while I'm down there as well, and then hire someone down to work my leads while I'm back up here, and the rest of the year.
Listing funnels will definitely work your leads, like in better than you can work them, better than anyone you could hire could work them, because it's going to be as if I'm working them. That's why, and the reality is find me a coach who spent 10 years on a predictive dialer and made over 1 million dials. There isn't one, and so I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but you make enough phone calls, you learn how to talk to people, you learn what questions to ask them, what questions not to ask them. You learn what they want to hear. You learn how to determine if they're full of crap, which is just as important as booking an appointment, because you don't want them wasting your time.
Yeah, whenever someone said they're getting a settlement, that they're not getting a settlement. They're not getting the settlement that they think they're going to get.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what's the old adage for an attorney? The attorney never asks a question that he doesn't know the answer to.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's the same thing in appointment booking. We have to ask questions that we know the answers to. We need to know what they want. And if we have experience, then we do. It's not that difficult. Like at the core, every seller wants to sell their house for above market value. Every buyer wants to steal a house.
Exactly.
Right? So if we start with that, and we're sincerely working hard to get the sellers above market value and get the buyers a deal that no one else could get them, then they're going to appreciate us. What the reason real estate has a bad, flavor or whatever to the public is because so many agents have commission breath. The consumers know that, all you care about is the commission. So, and that's part of my motivation, to help all the good agents. And when I say good agents, I don't even mean people that are closing 100 deals. I'm talking about people who are amazing in taking care of the consumer, amazing at actually caring about the result they get versus being a churn and burn. And usually the churn and burn people make all the money, but they leave carnage in their wake half the time.
Yeah, this summer I actually turned down a buyer because I was selling his house. I was like, John, you actually need to move to Florida. You're 75 years old. Your daughter lives in Florida already. I said, I'll if you put me in the will, I'll take care of you. But I don't think you'll do that. So you must just go to Florida and live in Florida and enjoy your time in Florida. So I talked myself out of a buyer, but I got a great seller out of it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And someone that was happy with the result and what have you.
Yeah, and that's what we should do. The realtor code of ethics, is kind of a joke. It's good, right? Like the words that it says are good, but just because someone signed off on the code of ethics doesn't necessarily mean that they're ethical.
What's the client, the Tom Cruise movie, The Client, or the where he's the attorney? You don't want to break the rules. Is how far can I bend them?
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly. Yeah. So I think it's
the firm.
Oh, The Firm. Yeah, I haven't seen that in ages.
I haven't either. I have to download that one and watch it.
Yep. I don't know what's going on with this group. Why you don't have more traction? As I was
it never got any footing here for some reason.
Well, it's not just that. Like I scroll down the posts and and I look. It's not a reflection on the admins or Jason or any of that. I mean, they're all good people, but are they all just hanging out in lab coat agents? Because there's like 39,000 people in here, and you scroll down and like most things have like 2 likes or something.
Well, I know you said the other night we have to approve the post.
Yeah, that will reduce engagement for sure.
Because there's so many different jackasses who think we want to see their listing.
I think that
so I don't know how many times I go in and approve posts and I delete 95% of them because they're
posting stupid shit.
Listings or how to be a coach or something, or that they're trying to sell something that doesn't need to be sold inside the group.
Yeah, exactly. It should be a group just to help people, help each other, really. And if somebody's sincerely helping, then people will automatically gravitate to them. They don't have to sell in the group.
But I think groups have kind of ran its course a little bit too as well. There are some powerhouse groups. I think local groups are doing pretty well. I've got 2 local groups that have over 10,000 people apiece for 20,000 person town, and I keep the trash out of that, and I don't auto approve. If you're new, I gotta approve you. Your first post, I gotta approve your first post.
Yep.
So other than that, I don't. Everybody else just gets to post whatever they want to post. And I got certain rules. It's not a garage sale site. It's not a pet site. It's not a business site. If you're a business, you can post 1 day a week. Other than that, it's for the people, and exactly what it is. And I keep rulers out of there as well. I've successfully kept rulers out of the group. I'm the only ruler,
Rollers.
and I get business out of it.
What's a roller?
Realtor.
Oh, realtor. Oh, that's
Realtor.
that
I said it fast. Sorry.
Indiana accent.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Realtor. I keep the realtors out of there. The agents out of there.
I think groups should be like self-policing, like let everybody delete anybody.
Oh God.
That
would open up a floodgate of complaints to me. That would not be, that'd be miserable. I already had one guy say, I wish they wouldn't be so negative comments, or if you post something, they get negative comments. I can no longer control the comments as I can control the wind.
Well, the thing is, like, negative comments are good, because of a few reasons. Like, first of all, it shows us who the people are that we shouldn't have anything to do with.
Exactly.
Potentially, it helps that negative person learn that their head is up their butt.
You're giving way too much credit to people, Bill.
Well, I do. That's one of my weaknesses. But like, how else are we going to live? Like, so the problem with, having to approve every single post, and I know it's like a lot of work, and not only to approve them, but like chasing down all the complainers. Like, if there's people just posting willy-nilly, like, dumb stuff, but that's, I think that's part of being a group, and if the community, I've always dreamed about having a group where, like, if somebody posts something stupid, the community just takes a huge dump on their post. The whole community has a ball just telling that person that, why are you posting that stuff in here? Like, do you really think anybody wants that nonsense? And they'll delete it themselves.
Jessica says it best. If the comments had to be video response instead of hiding behind their keyboards, it would cut down on the BS.
Yeah. Yeah, it would.
The amazing amount of keyboard warriors out there, and I'm guilty of being a keyboard warrior too. I think we all are at some point.
Yeah, sometimes I get sucked in, and and next thing you know, I'm 75 comments deep on something I should have never even looked at in the first place.
Right. Like, well, especially the night on that chat. I apologized once, and I wasn't gonna apologize twice, and not the likes of her.
Yeah, that was just fun. I got a kick out of that thread. I don't know how many people actually saw it, but there was more engagement on there than there was in the group.
Yeah, I think certain groups have run their course. I think lab code agents is the penultimate what you want to achieve, but only two guys out of all the admins out of there to make any money off of it.
Who's that? I know Tristan, obviously.
And now Baldwin's left KW and went to EXP.
Oh, is that what happened? So now Tristan's, I think, doing it too.
Yeah, and then they both work for Success Magazine too.
Isn't that wonderful? I like Tristan. I really do.
I like Tristan. I get along with both of them, but I like Tristan a lot.
Yeah, the other one, Baldwin, just always for some reason gave me a headache. In not like, I'm just saying, like, he would delete my stuff, and like he'd always be in lab code agents, given all the other admins, like, who even let this guy in here? I'm like, I don't even know this dude, So whatever. Then I started calling him Lord Voldemort, the one who shall not be named. But whatever. I wish him the best.
And I'm not even on the other one anymore.
Which one is that? The
Out of the
Shannon
box.
one?
Out of the box owls.
Oh, I think I'm still in there, but I haven't seen it in like a gazillion years.
Well, I got booted, so I'm no longer on that one.
So it looks like Jessica is our only listener tonight.
It's the listeners after the fact though too. That I should actually go back and take all these and make them podcasts.
Yeah, you should. Why not?
Time.
I mean, it's easy to you can download this right from, here, put it on YouTube.
Yeah, it's I will at some point. Maybe I'll do that in Florida.
So you're going to move there?
I have a condo in Florida.
Oh, I think you mentioned that before, where it's down on the West Coast, right?
West Coast, yeah.
Yeah.
Punta Gorda.
So the hurricane wasn't too far from there this time again.
It was right off the tip of Punta Gorda, but my place was spared. The grounds were not spared because the trees were all gone.
Yeah.
But the condo was spared. This time. Charlie took it out last time.
Yeah, it seems like that's the area that always gets hit every 10, 20 years, whatever it is.
So maybe I may go down there and end up selling it and go buying a house or something. We'll see.
I like condos.
There's no upkeep.
Yeah, I'm kind of sick of there's always something to do around the house.
Yeah, I got to do the gutters at some point here, and I haven't done the gutters yet.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I'm not doing the gutters.
I bought one of those gutter leaf blowers, and I can't get this thing's kicked my ass every time I've tried to use it.
It gets all over you, right?
Yeah. I'm just gonna pay someone to come clean them out now at this point. I only got 20 feet left to do. 20 feet that I can't reach without me getting on a ladder. And I'm already trimming bed as it is. I shouldn't be on the ladder any more than I already am.
Yeah. Do you have a ranch or a 2-story?
I have a ranch, but it's a tall ranch.
Ah, nice.
So it's a bungalow, I guess is what you would call it, a bungalow.
Yeah.
So
I wish there was more people that had questions. What do you think we should tell them?
What do you want to tell them?
I want to tell them to go take some listings, because the market, if they haven't realized it already, is going to take a massive dump, and it's already started.
Yeah, I've noticed in the last 2 weeks the amount of listings have gone down. 2 weeks ago, we had 11 listings in one town. This week we had 2. So granted, we've had Thanksgiving in there as well. So
yeah,
that'll be a little more telltale next week. How many listings we get?
Well, they're sitting on the market longer. More deals are popping.
Yeah.
Prices are going down. I mean, my own house, Zillow, I get the Zillow update every month, and it's dropping it, a little more than 10 grand a month.
Well, the assessment's wrong anyway, but the assessment keeps going down. It's got to be the barometer is telling you something. It's telling you something there.
Yeah, I mean, I know agents like to say this estimate's wrong, and I mean, it's about as wrong as the tax assessor. It's
right.
As accurate as it can be, right? I mean, they have all the data, and it's obviously just going by an average, so it's not going to be ridiculously wrong, And I think that they at the minimum get the trend right. They say the prices are going down, they're going down. They're for sure not going up. I think when they were going up, they were probably going up faster than Zillow thought. When they're going down, they're probably going down faster than Zillow thinks, because it's like a trailing indicator.
Zillow was using the assessment on their iBuyer program, and then see how well that worked out for them.
Well, the problem is it's a trailing indicator. So they need actual people who can use their human brain to kind of predict the future.
So you're saying they need rulers, boots on the ground to help determine the price of the home?
Yeah, absolutely. So does the tax assessor. Tax assessor's driving me nuts. Every year I'm protesting my taxes because, they don't know what they're doing either. And the tax assessor actually looks at Zillow. The tax
assessor here is supposed to go door to door and look at the houses.
Yeah, they're too lazy to actually do that. So they'll look at a handful every summer, and that's about it.
But even my mom was a county assessor, and she said if the county assessor comes to our door, tell him to go fly a kite.
Yeah. Just last week, my assessor said, yeah, okay, well, you go ahead, you file another, because before you ask for a hearing or you file, they changed the name of it from tax appeal to tax complaint, right? Because that way the assessor feels offended, right? That you're complaining that they're not doing their job. So they make it personal. So he says, well, yeah, go ahead, file your complaint. If you really feel you must do that, then at the hearing, we'll schedule a home, what do you call it? An on-site inspection. Like, he didn't say, well, after the hearing, we'll see how it goes and we might have to do it. No, he said, at the hearing, we'll schedule an on-site inspection. In other words, if you don't like your taxes now, just wait till I come look at your place.
Yeah.
It's a thinly veiled threat. And I'm just the kind of guy that will run for tax assessor. and I know how to cold call and door knock and send text messages and emails to every single person in the community. I will win.
That's funny.
So he should probably be careful what he does.
That I'd like to see you do that just out of meanness and spite.
I wouldn't mind collecting a government check to do nothing. It sounds pretty good.
So going back to the hindsight in 2020, going back to college, that's what I would have done. I would have got me a government job, worked 20 years and retired, and then become a realtor.
Yeah, my two older boys, they got government jobs. One's 29, the other one's 26. They're both
they'll always get their pension because the taxpayers paying for it.
Yeah, and the one is so he's in his 9th year. So like in like 6 more months or something, he's like fully vested. He could quit and then still get his full retirement from the government at whatever retirement age happens to be at the time. And so, he can go get another job, end up with 2 pensions, or he can start a business, like whatever. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be the only thing I would change if I went back. I'd become a teacher or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. What I would do if I went back. I might go into law. Like if I could handle I hate studying, right? Like books are not my friend. But I think being an attorney, like a trial attorney, and obviously it's fantasy land, but like if you ever saw that show Suits, when I see that, I'm like, I want to be that guy.
I could have done that.
That would be cool. I don't want to be a real estate attorney. I want to be a big corporate dude that's like doing, $100 million cases and, presenting in front of the courtroom. That'd be pretty cool, I think.
I was going to be the next Steve Dahl.
Oh yeah, you could have been.
I said, I've actually been told by other radio guys. I could, if I had stuck with that, I could have done good in radio.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's not even that good. That's not even that high of a bar. Yeah,
he made a lot of money doing it.
He definitely made a lot of money. Like, he's very successful. That's the funny thing about this world. You don't have to be that good to be successful. But you got
to know the right people and work hard.
Yeah, and you're just as good as Steve Dahl. Hell yeah. Maybe you can do it now. He probably retired, right? I haven't heard from him.
He's still doing a podcast. I pay $11 a month for him to do his podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So he just does his own thing. It's not like with a whatever radio station.
No, it's just him and 2 of the guys.
Huh. Cool.
So I still listen to him. It was funny. I was taking my daughter to school one day and she had her boyfriend with her, and he's like, what did you listen to in high school, Mr. Woodson? I said, I listened to this guy in high school, and I still listen to him today. So
yeah, I used to listen to him when he was on the loop when I was driving around or whatever.
Yeah,
100 years ago.
I always did too. So,
and wasn't it like Gary Meyer, I think, right?
Stephen Gary.
Stephen Gary.
Bag warming idiots.
Is Gary still doing it?
Yeah, I have no clue. I don't listen to Gary. I think he's on GN once in a while.
I usually just listen to Pandora or whatever. And the other day I was driving and I tried to put the radio on, and there's like nothing on.
No,
It's like, oh,
I put the radio on when I want to hear something. If something's going down in Chicago, like bad weather, I'll put the 720, 780.
oh yeah. What is that? The Answer, something like that.
WBBM 780. News radio.
Oh, it's 560 is the Answer thing. I've done a bunch of guest appearances on there for different people.
Cool.
That's a cool little radio station. I think it's a Fox affiliate.
I think it is too.
Let's go, Brandon. That's what we should talk politics. Somebody post in the group that we're talking politics. Maybe somebody will show up. Who do you want to win the election?
Do you think he'll run again or not?
Biden?
No,
Trump.
Trump.
Well, yeah, he already said he is.
He is, hasn't he? Is Biden going to run again?
For sure. He's too stupid not to. You know, the interesting thing will be, will the Democrats actually give him the nomination? Because here's the thing, though. See, I think Trump announced way too early. I think he did screw up the midterms, because as much as people were hating on the Democrats, they hate Trump more. Right. So they came out, they voted for their guy, or for the guy that wasn't going to be a Trump guy. You know, at least, and look, I don't even care, like Republican or Democrat. Like, I don't really consider myself either one. I'm somewhere in the middle. The problem is, currently, the Democrats are doing a lot of stupid shit.
Well, they all are, but
yeah. Well,
Democrats doing it more.
Well, the reality is, the Republican, they have one thing in common: the Republicans are full of shit, the Democrats are full of shit. It just comes down to what flavor of shit do you like. Like, that's it. Which tastes better to you? Because they're both full of it. Both.
Yeah, this bullshit and this bullshit. Take your pick.
Exactly.
With or without corn.
You know, the only good thing about Trump is he's really not a Republican. Like, if Hillary wasn't running, he probably would have ran as a Democrat, but he knew that he could not get the nomination, so he switched. He was a Democrat his whole dang life.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't really even think of him as a Republican. I think of, you know, that's just the, you know, he can't, you can't run as a libertarian or an independent or any of the other ones.
And expect to have a chance.
Yeah. It's like you're playing in the NFL. You need to be on an NFL team. Otherwise you don't get to play.
Yeah. There's no 13th grade for the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, if you want to play in the Super Bowl, you need to be in the NFL. Like, you can't be in a Canadian football league. Ain't gonna work.
Or you can't be in the XFL.
Yeah, or US, whatever the heck. Wasn't Herschel Walker in one of those weird ones?
He was in the USFL for a year, 2 years, I think.
Yeah. And boy, that guy, I don't know. I saw an interview with him. I'm like, he got his bell rung a couple too many times, I think.
I saw God, who was it? The Oilers. He ran for the Oilers. Just Walter Payton-esque. Just ran off and left everybody. No, but no one beat Walter.
No. And what was amazing is he wasn't really a big guy.
No, he was short. He was shorter than me.
I think it was like 5'8" or yeah, which is shorter than me. People who don't know, like Dave is actually pretty tall. When I first met you, I'm like, holy crap.
I'm just about 6 foot, a little under 6 foot.
I think you're taller than that, but
No.
I'm 5'10" and you seemed big to me.
I'm fat.
Well, I'm fat too. I lost a bunch of weight, but I'm still fat. That's the problem. Like, you lose a bunch of weight and then you're like, fuck, I'm still fat. This sucks.
Speaking of which, when is NAR coming back to Chicago? It's been 5 years.
I don't know. They're headquartered here, so they probably don't care. You know, it seems like they're always in San Francisco or
LA or
Louisiana,
Orlando or San Diego or someplace warm.
Yeah.
But I don't blame them.
I mean, it'd be cool if they were here because it'd be easy. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't think their conventions are that good. So like, I'm not flying out to San Francisco to go to a NAR convention. I wish it was better. That'd be great. Just isn't.
You're right. I didn't learn anything per se, and you only walk around the booth so many times.
Well, the speakers are usually, either like, they've got the big guy that they just fly in because he's sort of famous. And then the other ones are like sponsors or industry people that for some reason have a position but no experience.
And it's very cliquey too.
Well, it is. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the whole real estate industry is.
I'm the anti-click.
It's whether we like it or not, like it's getting worse every single year. Not just in real estate, but in the world, right? It's like to the point where like you have to be some kind of famous, and you don't have to be world famous, but like you want to do pretty good as a realtor, like, well, you kind of need to be locally famous.
And this is going to sound so egotistical. So egotistical when I say this. I've been to several conferences the last couple of years. People come to me, talk to me like I'm their long lost buddy, and I've got no clue who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Either because of this show, or because of YouTube, or because of what I say online, or
that's because you are famous, Dave.
I'm infamous, I think.
They even that restaurant stole your name. That's like ridiculous. You should be getting some kind of residual from that.
Yeah, we'll try. So,
but yeah,
well, Bill, I appreciate you coming on. We've been going for about 50 minutes at this point.
Wow,
time flies when you're having fun.
Well, we didn't answer anybody's questions, but that's only because they didn't have any.
Well, I put it out there a week ahead of time.
Yeah.
It's not like I didn't try.
Maybe you need to have Jay Kim on again. I remember that one time you had him on. Like everybody, for some reason, they wanted to hear what Jay had.
That's my lost episode. That's my lost episode. But I have that lost episode as a hidden episode on YouTube.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I mean, anybody ever wants the link, I can send you the link.
Yeah. Send it to Jay.
That's when he was talking about getting 8%, 9%, 10% commissions.
Oh yeah. I wonder if he's still doing that.
I had him on the anniversary show, but he left, and I never had talked to him since.
Oh, he must have been on. I think, did I come on late? I don't remember.
You came on by halfway through, and so did Hellickson.
Yeah, Hellickson was kind of weird on that episode.
He was looser than I thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
He wasn't his normal tidied up self.
That's good.
I think he brought it out in him.
Michael, if you're listening, I'm glad that the corn cob fell out. That's fantastic. You were just at his thing, right?
His son is doing pretty good in real estate right now. He's doing about 90 listings for the year.
I heard, like, right at the beginning of the year, he was already at like 6 figures. I'm like, what in the heck? That's fantastic.
So,
oh well,
he's been pretty good. Can't complain. So at some point, I've got to figure out how to do the wall of video behind like you do.
It's easy. You like throw a whole bunch of money at a wall, put a bunch of 4K TVs on the wall, get some special software, a specialized computer to run it. A green screen is ridiculously easier. I probably should have just did that. But
there's a guy here that does corn and hog features locally, and he's got the wall of screens.
Oh yeah,
but he actually makes money off of it by trading futures and what have you.
Wow.
So
very cool.
He's always on GN when you're talking about the hog features. He's on GN a lot.
Very cool.
So
I just figured I'd throw a real estate video up there.
I like the video.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna launch a podcast soon, and I'm gonna start doing some things. I want to do it like, the reason I did this is I kind of wanted to do it like Grant Cardone style.
Yeah.
And then just go live.
Is he for real?
Oh yeah, he's for real. Yeah. What do you mean specifically?
You ever watch Meet Kevin?
Oh yeah.
they have a little battle going back and forth where he doesn't think Cardone is he thinks Cardone's kind of full of shit a little bit.
Well, I think a lot of guys have poked at Cardone because it gets them attention. Meet Kevin like got pulled over and got a DUI not too long ago, and that was all over the place.
I did not know that.
And so that video is on YouTube. If you type in, Meet Kevin, DUI, it's on like 20 different guys' channels, because as soon as they found out, they like did the FOIA request. Oh yeah, it's it's bad, and Meet Kevin just totally wouldn't cooperate with the police. So they hauled him away. He's like, no, I'm not going to blow. And he's like, I'm just telling you right now, I'm not going to blow. I'm not going to say anything. And then he shut up. And like the cop kept asking him questions, and and he just wouldn't say anything. And the cops are like, if you're not going to talk to me, this is going to be harder for you. And so come on, aren't you going to talk to me? Nothing.
I'll have to look for that.
It was hilarious. So I think, and he's young, right? Grant, and he did drugs and alcohol and all that stuff back in the day, and he talks about it. So, he learned a lot from it. And, but look, I can't remember how many billions of dollars the guy has under control. Like, doesn't mean he's a billionaire, right? He's managing.
I was I was listening to a podcast today, and they were talking about these guys who, like you, or let's say someone like you, like similar to you, who's got the following, who's got control over, who can say let's invest in this entity, and enough people, they got enough money behind them to they can invest in it overnight.
Yeah,
just because they have a podcast or a YouTube channel.
Yeah, and you don't even necessarily need that. Like, so something I never really talk about. So I'm involved with some of this financial stuff, kind of like Cardone in real estate assets, and I do it with some people that I met through coaching. A guy in LA, an Israeli dude, and started a fund like 2 years ago, and it's up to 3 billion.
Really?
Yeah, but I never really talk about it because kind of don't need to. Like when you're into that big of money, like money just comes to you. In fact, there was this guy about a week ago, and he was talking to my partner Isaac, and so he wanted to put in 100 grand because we were doing this thing where like people could get in for 100 grand, right? And Isaac's wife just passed away, so he's like he's kind of a wreck. But so the guy called him up. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm ready. I want to put in 100 grand, and we closed that already. So he said, well, unfortunately, we've already closed that, and now we're not taking anybody on for less than $1 million. So the guy just called back and said, where do I send a check? And what we do is we just buy real estate. People get a return, 5%. Protected, in what do you call it? Secured by the real estate. So it's we're buying strip centers and apartment buildings and stuff like that. But there's so much money out there. It's insane. Like, and I have like literally this time right now is the first time I've ever even mentioned it publicly.
Wow.
Nice.
Thank you.
So, like what I don't even know what Cardone is up to. And I heard Meet Kevin, he's raised like 30 million because he recently did some kind of public offering. Not an IPO, right? But he offered to his audience that they could invest, and only if you're accredited and stuff like that.
Jessica says Grant, Bradley had the same investor management group.
Yep. I like Bradley too. I never met the guy, but I like his content.
I don't think I've heard of him. I don't think I've heard of him. I could be wrong though.
He's easy to find. It's amazing how many channels are on YouTube that, like, if I spend a few minutes on there in a day, like I'm always going to find somebody cool that I've never heard of before. and then I see they've got 5 million views, and I'm like, how the heck have I not heard of this person?
And YouTube is still a largely untouched resource at this point for real estate.
Yeah, it really is. And and that's why you really should go to YouTube. Right.
Well,
Because
this will be posted tomorrow on YouTube.
okay, cool.
So
And I think just like Facebook, they favor the live stuff. So like if you start doing your lives on YouTube, yeah, I bet you'll get some organic reach. They YouTube for some reason doesn't really promote its groups. I think they're trying to figure out how to monetize the groups.
well, that's I've got a PDF book right here that talks about it.
Yeah.
And I'm halfway through it at this point, and I'm trying to monetize my local groups. And so I think if I can monetize it, do you think Facebook will be able to monetize it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
yep.
Because right now my only monetization is me getting leads off of it.
Yeah.
Which is almost good enough for me at this point.
I mean, it's what you do. So like, it's great. Eventually maybe you'll move into coaching or, who knows what. Cause like, I mean, you know what you're doing. There's plenty of coaches out there that don't. Like a lot of them. Like the bigger they are, probably the less they know. Like
and if you don't know which ones don't what they're doing, go back to yesterday and look at the ones who discounted their services by 90%.
Yeah, yeah, that too. Yeah, I'm a high ticket sales guy. Buy my thing for $17. Like, really? Come on. Like in my high ticket stuff, I don't even give a price. You give me a price. I take you through a process. You tell me what you want. I ask you how much that's going to be worth to you, and then I say okay.
That's. I had a teacher like that. What do you think you deserve on this? A C? Okay, I'll give you a C. Really, I think it was a B. No, too late. You already said a C. Like shit.
Yeah. I mean, I've had people say, well, I think that'd be worth $100,000. And I'm like, I agree.
I think it would be too. Write the check today.
Yeah. So I'm going to send you my wiring instruction. And it really is that easy. If you have what people want and they have the means, then they will buy it. Because
exactly.
if your solution is worth more than the problem, the money is irrelevant.
Exactly.
That's just how it works. So yeah, man. And the biggest coach in the industry has never listed a house, never sold a house, and never had a real estate license. That just rubs me the wrong way.
But his dad did.
Yeah, his dad sold 3 houses. And they're like, wow, you actually seem pretty good at this. Why don't we make you a coach? And he's like, fuck, sounds good to me. This sucks.
I can't get over that either. That he never sold real estate yet. He's the number one guy for now.
I like Tom. He's good at what he does. He is, right.
I still a lot of his stuff,
but at the same time, it's like it's just mind-boggling that he's the biggest coach in the industry and never had a license.
Yeah.
Because and what it really means is
he's like a dating guru who's never been on a date.
Well, that's why all his stuff is canned. And if you have a custom problem, he can't give you a solution.
Really?
Absolutely.
See, I've never spent more than 5 minutes listening. I've listened to some of his stuff, but I don't really I never delved deep into his stuff.
There's something that I do every single year between this time of year and the end of the year. And that is I opt in for every one of these people's offers. And I book appointments. And then I ask questions that they can't answer. Because I record it and I think it's fun. But it's market research. Like it's important to know what your competition's up to, right?
Keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer.
Yeah, I mean, some of these guys, and Tom Ferry's just the biggest one. They're really, really, really good at selling realtors coaching. Are they really, really, really good at taking listings? No, of course not. They've never done it. They have, a can thing. They teach you the can thing. But guess what? Your customer doesn't stay on script because they don't even have it and they don't know they're supposed to.
Jessica's got some great information. Break the clips down to reels on Facebook and get paid for the reels. That's what she does. So I said, I should break this down to reels and post it on Facebook.
You should, absolutely. And all you got to do is like take your recording, send it to Fiverr, tell some dude, whenever it didn't suck, chop that into a minute.
Yeah, it might be all we have is a minute.
It might be, but hey, you can get paid, right?
So I'll tell you my quick story about Stuman.
Oh yeah,
I made a comment about him.
He didn't send you a glitter dick, did he?
No, I made a comment about him one night. He wrote me a comment. Who the fuck are you to comment about me?
Yeah.
I wrote back to him. I said, I'll give you one piece of advice: never punch down. And he deleted his comment.
He unfriended me because
I was right, because he was here, I was here, and he was punching down to me. I was punching up.
Yeah.
I said never punch down, and he deleted his comment. That was, to me, that was the funniest shit I've ever.
That's awesome. So, yeah. I used to be friends with him. I'm not anymore. I've
heard that he doesn't have friends for long.
Well, he seems like he wants to be the coolest kid in the room, right? So if I don't know what it is, like I don't know if he gets easily intimidated. I don't know, but if someone else like has a clue, he's just going to delete them.
Yeah, if you peek behind the curtain,
and I for sure have a clue.
He's going to delete you.
I never sign up for any of the stuff. I don't know if it's any good or anything. I thought it was funny. Like I've heard him on podcasts telling that somebody pissed him off, so he sent them a glitter dick in the mail. I'm like, that's just hilarious. Like some of the stuff the guy does is hilarious.
I sent someone a bag of penises before.
That's fucking great.
But they pissed me off. They really kind of irked me one day. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get you. I'll get you a bag.
Yep.
Bag of dicks.
Awesome.
No.
All right, man. Well, hopefully you can get a couple of reels out of this.
I think I can. I can get at least a few out of it.
If nothing else, Stuman and his glitter dick should be something.
Jessica said he's trying to overcompensate for something being small with his big obnoxious personality.
That could be possible.
But I talked to someone else about him, and he kind of goes through friends like wax paper, I guess, or through something like shit through a goose.
Yeah.
So, well, Bill, I appreciate you coming on. We'll have to do this again.
Anytime, man. And thanks for tuning in, Jessica. We may not have a lot of listeners.
We have two with us right now.
Oh, wow. How'd that happen?
We've been fluctuating between 1 and 3.
Wow. That's fantastic.
Any more than that would make me nervous.
You could break the server, get up to 5.
All right, Bill. Thanks. Have a good night, buddy.
You too, brother.
Talk to you soon.
Party on.
All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks, Bill, for stopping by. And any questions, reach out to me at 219-872-8000. Email me at dwoodson@gmail.com. Stay tuned for next week. Same Dave time, same Dave channel. I think I'll do a show next week. I may be out of town. We'll see how it goes. See you guys next week, though. Talk to you later. Bye.
Do it from the beach.
I'll be in Grand Rapids if I do it. See you guys later. Bye.